When I was, I think I was 19, I was still in college, and I was at a Christian college in the South, and I was having a conversation with one of the teachers, and they said something, and I didn't agree with them. And so I made my disagreement known because, I think that's what you're supposed to do. And anyways, it was perceived as I was being disrespectful.
Oh, no.
And so I got in trouble. And at that juncture in my life, I was doing a lot of singing. And so I was with a group that was going on tour there in the college. And I was supposed to go on the weekend and go sing with this group. And then they said, you can't go because you were disrespectful. And I was horrified, and my professor was horrified, the music professor, and he said, we've got to rectify this. So he went to bat for me, and he went to the teacher, and he said, what do we need to do to get this right? She has to go with us this weekend. And they said, well, the only thing you can do to rectify this is she needs to get up and apologize before the whole chapel.
Oh, my goodness.
And so morning came, they went through all of the stuff that they did in the beginning of the chapel, and then they said, Jeannie has something she would like to get up and say. Well, I was a nervous wreck. And all of my friends, they were all sitting there, and they knew that I was going to have to get up and apologize. And so I stood up there and I said, I want to apologize for my lack of disrespect. And then everybody broke out laughing. I had no idea what I said because I had been so nervous. They were roaring with laughter, and the head was looking at me like, what? And they said, you said disrespect. And I said, I am so sorry. I apologize for my lack of respect. Anyways, it was hysterical. But I had been corrected, but I received the correction and then actually just totally blew it in my apology. And to this day, I don't get to live that one down when I get back with my college friends. But receiving correction is a really, really difficult thing. But to be corrected means to be able to make things right.
Yes.
And I look back now over the years, and the Lord has corrected me many times, and he does it ever so gently. And I think in the natural, when we are receiving correction or we're having to give correction, and if you're on the one that's having to correct, there's a fine line between if you're doing it and you're being critical of somebody, then that's the wrong kind of correction. And Timothy, I think it's Timothy 2, the scripture tells us that if you're going to give correction, you're to do it gently and in love. And so I think about that, but I know how important it is in our lives. I remember when I turned 50 many moons ago, I decided I wanted to get my pilot's license and overcome my fear of heights and claustrophobia. And so as I was learning to fly, when I would get up in the plane, when you're in a plane, you constantly have to do what they call course correction because the winds and the pressure in the atmosphere throws that plane off. So you're constantly, every 30 minutes, in bigger planes, they have automatic correction. If you fly in a big plane, you don't have to worry about those. But little planes, you're constantly having to adjust the dial. And in our life, sometimes the winds of life and things happen in our life, and really we get kind of thrown off course, and the Word will correct us. And that's so oftentimes God just shines His light gently on us. We're reading the Word, or we're praying about something, and God would just highlight one thing. And I'm so glad He just does like one thing at a time, because if He really did the big floodlight, I would just want to give up. But correction becomes very, very important. It's so that He can get us where we need to go. And it's all about being able to receive the blessing and fulfill destiny and purpose, really, that He wants for our lives. And so we can't be afraid of it. And if we have to give it, then I think we have to make sure that we're speaking the truth in love and that we gently correct others.
It makes such a huge difference. I am so grateful for people in my life who are happy to correct me. And you're right, when you first start, it's like, well, this is a wee bit uncomfortable. And I think as well, there's that feeling of, if you knew my heart, but actually the Lord knows our heart. And there are things, even with the best heart, we just get wrong. And we just don't have a 360 on ourselves.
No.
You just don't. You need people to say, you have a blind spot here.
Yes.
Or when you do this, it comes across this way. And you're like, I had no idea. And then the beautiful opportunity either to apologize if it's an apologizing thing, or if it's actually a critique where someone's saying, you do this well, but I think you've got greatness in you. And they're calling greatness out of you. And then
That's
you can
right.
trust
That's
their
good.
heart. And they're like, wow, you really believe in me. If you didn't, you wouldn't bring any kind of suggestion to me of how I could improve. I find that as a songwriter as well. I would never have written anything that other people sang without the correction and critique of people who are better than me. And you're like, wow, that's so incredibly helpful. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and God's correction is rooted in what? In love.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, a father disciplines the son that he loves. So when God's correcting us, it's actually to add.
Yes.
It's an opportunity for multiplication.
Yes.
And so God correction or godly correction will add to our life. And I know there was a time where I couldn't see in front of my face and I was stuck. And I was like, I don't need comments. You know, we live in a world of we post something and then people just write their comments. Well, actually, maturity is realizing how many things don't require your comment.
Exactly.
But actually, I was in a situation where I needed godly counsel and correction. I actually turned to Victoria and I knew she was a friend because of how she responded. She responded in love. And she responded in gentleness, so much so that it was like one of the best conversations I ever had.
You didn't even know you'd been
No,
corrected.
because it was life-giving and I couldn't see. And I said, Victoria, will you help me see? Well, she didn't just tell me what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
She added and multiplied to my life. She made me better. I took on everything she said and it made me better. It made me stronger. So actually, correction is not something to be afraid of.
Right.
Actually, it says that when you're corrected, you can actually gain in wisdom and understanding. And I think I had the same thing with you. I really felt something with God. And actually, you were the person who needed to say yes or no. And you said, no, I don't feel that's right. And it was like, I felt so safe.
Yeah.
I thought, how brilliant that I can be wrong and have a friend who actually loves me enough to correct me. And there's so much goodness there. There's so much to be gained.
Yeah, I want to be that kind of friend. Thank you. I was like,
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
And it's because of you that partner with us that this ministry continues. God bless you.